2, 1. Guest for the NFC, Mr. Cullen Smith.
Falcons fan.
Our Falcons fan that we talk to, we get probably some very biased takes on what the Falcons are. You are also a huge Hawks fan and a Braves fan as well. So we get stuff on, but it would not, me being a Patriots fan, the 28-3.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I am
Nice
sorry.
welcome.
So we had to do that. But no, yeah. So first team we're going to talk about, the Saints.
Yeah.
I think the Saints, we kind of, when we wrote some of this, because, we've gone over the win totals and everything, 5.5 wins
Just
for
seems
me,
generous.
way too much. For a team that they have no clue what they're doing at quarterback,
It's
very, very
bad,
old.
man.
They've got so much money tied up in stuff that...
Well, they're in cap hell still.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still recovering
new head
from that.
coach in I'd say a pretty decent division with hopefully the Falcons.
3 improved teams at least. At the very
Tampa,
least.
I think, still has all their I know they
Oh,
lost, their offensive coordinator,
Yes.
so that who knows what that's going to look like. But they still have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker, all their running backs, Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
The Saints, though, I don't like them at all. I don't like their quarterback. Their
don't
head
like
coach
any of their
might be right,
quarterbacks.
but he just doesn't have anything to work
Well,
with.
so it's like we never. I mean, Chris brought up a good point. It's like coordinators don't make good coaches all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to have that bravado about you to lead a group of men, especially football players. And it's just, I don't know much about Kellen Moore. Obviously, he was the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Then he went to the Eagles. Now he's, making his third stop at the Saints. This is way more than third, but as a coordinator or coach. And what can you do without a quarterback? Why did you draft Tyler Shuck over,
Sanders.
I get Shador Sanders. Or even quite honestly, Milroe. I feel like Milroe has more upside than Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck is 26 before he takes a snap in the NFL. It makes no sense.
And in a division too, where you have Baker, you have now Penix, you have now Bryce Young,
who is finally playing like what you drafted
towards
him for.
the backhand of his the season last year. So it's to me the Saints 5.5 wins, way too high for I think a good division, and you signed Brandon Cooks. Like Brandon Cooks is your best player that you signed in the offseason of a guy who
you signed Justin Reed too, but it's like
still though to me I like those are the two guys that you went out and were able to sign because of the cap hell you're in with all the holes you needed. And then you didn't even draft I think a comparable quarterback to lead your franchise.
They did the same thing a couple years ago too with Spencer Rattler. They thought he was going to turn the program around.
Well, they took him that was like third or fourth round pick,
and that didn't do anything.
No.
I've never heard of Tyler Show before.
Yeah,
I saw him pop up on the draft board
just randomly. Popped up at Louisville.
And too, they had I think like you just mentioned with the whole Spencer Rattler is they thought that Derek Carr was going to kind of maybe
mentor,
but it wasn't that at all.
And he just goes up and retires.
Yeah,
but it's like honest to God, pull up their depth chart because they've got a good old line. I think their defense isn't bad. I think their pass rush is where they're going to get into trouble. I think, but they traded for. They gave a 7th round pick to get the D tackle that you guys had, Devon Godshaw, that was out with the blood clots last year. Which, you could probably attest. He's a decent player.
Yeah.
Pretty decent. Good run stopper.
Yeah.
And then I like the Justin Reed signing. I think it's good that they stole him away from the Chiefs because he was one of their best players on that defense throughout their Super Bowl runs. I like the Texas tackle that they took as well. And so, like I said, their offense outside of quarterback is good. And
what have I always said,
most important position. I don't know what they're trying to... I have to imagine that Kellen Moore got his guy because, why wouldn't you let the head coach that you just hired at least pick out the quarterback that he's going to be working with? So that already just kind of it raises a red flag in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
agree.
So how do you think their defense is going to be?
Genuinely, I think their secondary is going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run at all. I think they're probably going to be one of the worst run defenses.
They're also not going to be able to score points. And
that too.
No.
They're not going to be able to. Yeah, they're not even going to be a decent fantasy team because Chris Olave is probably going to just keep getting thrown hospital balls. Yeah. He's going to get knocked out 3 or 4 more times.
Same with Kamara, Alvin, and he just signed an extension last year.
That's the other thing as well. Last year we talked about it. They had one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. That hasn't changed really. Cameron Jordan's in his 15th season.
Have you
Kamara's in like 10.
Have you seen the workout videos of Cameron Jordan this offseason? It's so funny. Jake, have you seen
He's
those?
funny as hell.
I'll have to show you. He's like wobbling around like a penguin. Like people are like, dude, just hang it up. Like you're playing for the Saints. It's time. Just leave
He's
it.
been with the Saints his whole career.
It's a good year to get out.
I mean, it really is.
So next team, Panthers. Like I'll stay true to my whole argument is quarterback runs everything. I don't care if you have an average roster, a good quarterback can make it a very good roster like we saw with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that Bryce Young is an amazing quarterback, but the last half of the season last year, what we saw compared to the rest of the league, he was top 5 in some pretty big stats that matter.
Big time throws, he was first, I believe.
Yes, and now, I mean, you re-sign J.C. Horn, who I think is a great pick.
Oh, one of the best corners in the league.
You drafted the kid from Arizona, the receiver, McMillan, to give him more help with, Adam Thielen's still on that team, Xavier Legette's still on that team.
Well, they also, I don't know if you know, Cullen, they drafted Trevor Etienne as well. Georgia boy.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
To be honest, I'm not big on him. Ex-Florida guy, whatever. Not many expectations for him.
Yeah.
We went to the Falcons-Panthers game at the end of the season.
Yep.
And Bryce Young, there was a point in that season where I thought he was just done.
Well, they benched him after like 2 or 3 weeks.
Completely done.
Yeah.
But he showed out. I think he'll be really good.
That's right. We were at that game. Yeah. We were at the Week 18 Falcons-Panthers game.
Penix versus,
Penix had like 4 touchdown passes. Bryce Young had like 5. Dude, that was a great game. And seriously, they also, through the draft, worked a lot to fix their pass rush and their defense in general. They went and signed Trevon Moehrig from the Raiders, who's decent, pretty good safety. And then they stole a defensive tackle from the Chiefs. I'm not going to try to pronounce his Tershawn Wharton. I think that's right. But they also took one of the Colorado receivers, Jimmy Horn Horn Jr.
And you know what I'm seeing trend in what teams are trying to do is what the Eagles did with the defensive line.
They want 7 or 8 guys. You can rotate in and out.
They saw, I think, the whole league of how dominant that was and how impactful that was for huge games and controlling games.
Oh, yeah.
And in all these teams that we're breaking down, that to me is the common denominator that every team is trying to
get a pass rush. They're trying to get run stop. And
or just depth to where they can throw, like you said, all these different guys at you to give different looks, to give different, anything the same way we did with the Eagles. And why we have seen the Eagles dominate the way they have, I think, the past couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. And
Georgia boys.
Dude, they've got like 7 or 8 Georgia players on that team. But it's like, I mean, floor-wise, the Panthers, I mean, I look at their schedule. Don't get me wrong, they've got tough games. And so they will not make the playoffs, but they will be better. It's 6.5. Honestly, 6.5 sounds kind of decent for them. Like, I think if you win 7 or 8 games, that's a great year for you guys. Especially with, what happened last year.
To me, 6.5 is a very good line. To where if I was betting, I would stay far away from that because they could end with 6 and then you screw yourself, or they could end with 7 and you win by half a game.
We do have some ties actually here. So we know someone who is very, very, very close with Xavier Leggett.
He's commented on the show a couple times.
He has commented on the show a few times. And so, let's just keep growing this show. And maybe, Xavier Leggett will grow with the Panthers and we can meet in the middle. That's meet at the top, actually.
I don't know if we'll understand the word he's saying.
Oh, dude, Xavier,
but it will be a hell of a time.
Xavier, don't worry. We will have subtitles for you. It's okay. It's okay. I will personally write them for you. I will make sure that every single word is understood.
That's funny. So, why Cullen is here, the Falcons?
Yes.
First off, what is your take on how they handled the quarterback situation, not only from the draft, from signing Kirk Cousins to then drafting Penix to then how the season unfolded last year before we get into
and then to not trading him. Yeah. Also after the season as well.
So, you guys were at the draft when you saw Michael Penix pop up.
Yeah, I was there.
He was there. I wasn't.
That was the Detroit one.
I'm sure
I was there.
You heard
yeah.
Crazy.
Air got sucked out of Detroit.
That's how we felt. I got it spoiled for me a little early, and I just threw my phone down and walked away. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20. I'm glad we got him.
He's a dog.
I think he's going to be awesome. the way we handled it, you got a new head coach, Raheem Morris, which, there's debate about like his, clock management, stuff like that, but he's a dog. People rally behind
defensive
him. Defensive guy.
Players coach.
Yep.
However, I'm glad that this season was a bust in the sense that Kirk, got benched. Michael Penix comes in a little bit. I think it would have stunted Penix's growth.
Yeah.
You saw Bryce Young, when he started.
He got thrown out into the fire.
Horrible.
It was,
So I'm okay with it. I don't think we should have ever signed Kirk. There's some other guys. I was really hoping for Lamar Jackson. I know that's crazy, but every Falcons fan was hoping to get
I don't
him.
think it's the craziest thing.
Well, there was a lot. I mean, there was that time when I think the Ravens didn't give Lamar a deal, and he actually went
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he went to check on other teams, and no one was interested.
And Atlanta, for a black running quarterback to historically
it's like
Michael Vick.
Your next Michael Vick.
Yeah,
it's right here staring at you in the face.
That's not the craziest
now
thing
we got
to
an
say.
actual Michael, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah, a left-handed Michael.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We paid a premium for Kirk, which I would have been cool paying for Lamar.
180 million guaranteed.
It's ridiculous. I think he could be a good mentor now.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think he's going to do that though?
I think he will.
Yeah.
Or do you think?
No, I think Kirk's a good guy.
Okay.
Like I think he's like genuinely
guy.
He's looking for Penix's success.
Yeah. That's another thing that we'll get to see on the quarterback show too. That
Hopefully.
I'm excited to see. I guarantee you,
that.
in the later episodes, you 100% will see scenes with them, or at least him talking about Penix. And I think bigger question is, y'all's pass rush last year. It's probably
it was trash. I know.
Yeah. Well, you
guys went out in the draft and. You spent 2 first, traded back into the first round to get.
You got both guys that you were projected to take in the first round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is, doesn't happen often.
So I'm a Georgia fan, so obviously Jalen Walker, super happy about that.
I like him a lot.
He's going to need to get better with his pass coverage, though, to truly excel with the Falcons.
Right now, he's just kind of like a sideline to sideline tackler.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's fast, he's strong, he's a little undersized, but he's a dog.
It's like Roquan.
Yeah, he's proven it. Tennessee guy.
James Pierce.
I'm not sure how I felt about that at first. We got both of them, which is awesome. But he had some behavioral issues, and that was a rumor.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that's going to go.
You signed Leonard Floyd in the offseason, too, which, another
players.
Georgia boy. And veteran.
And they did exactly what I think the fan base and everyone was screaming for them to do.
Defense.
No, pass rush. Like D-line, pass rush.
See, I already forgot his name because he was so bad, but we got him from the Patriots.
Judon.
Yeah, Judon.
Yeah, Matthew Judon.
Terrible.
Dude, he's got those nice red sleeves. He didn't do anything all season.
And then blamed it on, I think, at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But he blamed it on the coaching and blamed it on, so he did the typical kind of, now I have to save my ass because I still want to play.
Yeah.
So I have to blame everything on everyone else. So another team will give me, another contract for me to come.
Well, we also got rid of Grady Jarrett.
Yeah, you cut Grady
awesome
Jarrett.
Guy, but I think it was time for him to get off the Falcons.
Yeah,
Not saying
I'm glad we have
y'all, but
I'm glad we have him. But I think y'all secondary doesn't look bad.
Well, you guys didn't sign Simmons back, the safety.
He's still a free agent.
He's still a free agent.
But they drafted Xavier Watts.
Yes,
Notre Dame.
I agree.
No, he's a safety. He's like
Bowman is going to play nickel.
Billy Bowman Jr. will be like the nickel guy. You also, the undrafted free agent that you guys took from Kansas, Kobe Bryant, was not supposed to be undrafted. Nope. Still really don't know why he was. But I think the secondary is good. I think AJ Terrell's great. I think Jesse Bates is great. Jordan Fuller, honestly, is pretty. I didn't know that you guys had him. So he's
I think AJ Terrell is something to prove. I think he's been.
Well,
he had a down year last year, and yes, he did just get signed. But he got. I don't want to say he got picked on a lot, but those safeties last year for y'all. It really was. They were not throwing deep against you guys. Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons are ball hawks, both of them. I would imagine that the quarterbacks were staying towards the outside of the numbers as much as possible, which puts a lot more pressure, obviously, on AJ Terrell being an outside corner.
Yeah.
But I think, what is their line? 7.5 wins. That honestly seems a bit low. I'm not going to lie.
To me, I see them finishing with 8, 9, 10 wins in that range.
I think they have 9 or 10.
It's an 11-win team.
It's
an 11-win team. Trust.
I don't know about 11. I
open up the season against the Bucs.
I think
we
9.
We swept the Bucs last season.
That's true.
9 to me sounds like a really good number for the base. I think it should be 9.5,
so you think
not 7.5.
You think they miss the playoffs again?
No, I think they make the playoffs.
Okay.
I really do. I was a huge supporter of the Falcons last year.
Yeah.
And then they completely collapsed with the lead they had in the division.
Yeah.
I think the next team we'll talk about a little bit, they're going to see some regression with not having their offensive coordinator, I believe.
Probably.
I don't think the Panthers are good enough to beat the Falcons in this division,
And we
and
know
definitely
the
not the
Saints
Saints.
aren't good enough.
So
I've been waiting to say that.
I don't trust Raheem.
I just
No.
Raheem Morris.
You don't trust Raheem?
I don't trust Raheem.
well, that's honestly, I think truly my only real question mark that I have
Head
with
coach?
the Falcons is the head coach. I like the quarterback.
Their O-line.
You have plenty of talent to throw the ball to. You have, Drake London, Kyle, say what you want. Kyle Pitts is still there.
Yeah.
Bijan, I think, is a top 3 running back in the league,
he's
hands
great.
down.
Well, you want to know what the issue was last season? The whole reason is Kirk, went down.
Mhm.
It was some transitional period. Our defense was horrible. We've got Ulbrich from.
That's
he
right.
used to
They
be with
did
us,
hire
but
Jeff Ulbrich,
And he was bad with us.
Jets interim head coach.
He was bad with us when he was here, but he's supposedly changed his whole scheme and everything.
Huh.
The draft, we won in the draft. If we had a good defense
I
last
agree.
season,
I
we
agree.
would have been in the playoffs.
Well, you
Oh,
would have
100%,
brought in
100%.
at least 2 more wins, I think, if you had a defense.
Yeah.
I think, especially early on against the Steelers.
Well,
There
I
was a
think-
spot in that
we shouldn't
season
have
where
lost.
they were running the division.
Well, I think you win the Saints game they lost that everyone gave them shit for.
Mhm.
And there was one
you
other.
beat the Steelers week 1, I think.
No, we lost.
No, there was
by
one-
field goal.
No, I'm
only.
saying you would
if
have.
we did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you did. There you go. Those 2 wins, it already came down to the last week
and
against Tampa.
even the last week
Versus Tampa.
or the last game against the Panthers to where it was a shootout.
That one
We
too.
should have won.
Well,
that,
you
yeah.
guys should have won that.
It went to overtime, I think. Yeah, it did.
Well,
Because
the Commanders game too.
that
Did
too.
you watch that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But we should have won it.
Again.
So
it's
you have
defense.
any type of defense with how your offense was
You win
playing.
at least
That's
2
what I'm
of those,
saying.
I think.
But all you needed to do was at least win 2 to win your division with ease because of the lead you had.
Yeah.
So that is why I think the Falcons.
Let's look at their schedule. I mean, realistically, can you find 9 or 10 wins on this schedule? I think
You can.
I think you're right. They split with Tampa. I don't know about Minnesota though. Minnesota, they play
Minnesota's a huge
Minnesota
question.
on
You
Sunday
don't-
night.
No, hold on,
JJ
though.
McCarthy is.
I say
That's
they
true.
beat Minnesota just because of the quarterback.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know how.
I'm
it's gonna
taking
be.
Penix over
That's
JJ
true.
100% right now.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
watched JJ because I'm a Georgia fan. Like I said, I
Mhm.
watched him at Michigan, and I didn't see anything
He's
special.
game manager. You're not
Okay.
gonna win because of him, but you're not gonna lose because of him either.
Yeah.
I think he's like that. He's like Brock Purdy.
But-
I think that is Brock Purdy.
Kevin O'Connell. So
Yeah, and that's Kevin O'Connell is, in my opinion, outside of Sean McVay and Andy Reid, the best
Yeah.
play caller in the league.
man, he can
I
turn
think.
him into something crazy.
Yeah,
Like he
exactly.
did with
I mean,
Sam Darnold.
Addison, Hawkinson, Jefferson. It's the weapons are there as long as he can give them a semi-catchable ball.
Yeah.
But to
like-
stay on the Falcons though, I definitely think that their line should be.
Like 8.5.
I like
Give
to
them another
say
win.
I like to say 9-10 wins, they win the division. If I had to predict
they win
it,
the division?
I do think they win the division. To get into the last team though, before we talk
The
division
last
winners,
division winner.
Wait a minute, though. Before we get done, can we at least
what's that?
elephant?
Oh,
Talking about
addressed
28 to
it.
3.
I forgot about it.
Just wanna bring it up one more time.
Predicted the 28-3 victory.
Do you have your
Oh,
sticker?
yeah?
And
Oh,
so
you don't
I
have the
I
28 to
don't.
3 sticker.
So it'd be fun. to
Here it
go
is.
back to
Oh wait, no, that
Oh,
was
Let's
in
go
Atlanta.
back to
It's
that
somewhere
year,
over
'cause I
here.
don't. You remember that Super Bowl?
Mhm.
Do you remember that happened? I remember
Oh,
what
yes.
Dawson was doing. He had really good friends. He was texting.
Oh, Cullen has a
Predicted
funny.
it as a
Cullen has a
text
good
message.
story about that Super Bowl.
Well, I could just no.
Good,
I just
good,
I
give
gotta.
us-
What
Story
did that feel
time.
like?
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. You watched Georgia lose the year
Felt
before,
great.
dude. Me and my dad were sitting downstairs watching it, and I have a video. You can hear the loudest remote slap on the couch, and he just storms off like it's over. It was horrible, but
Well, that's that.
That's funny.
yeah, Kyle Shanahan.
Hey, the Braves won though. You got the Braves World Series a few years
The
later.
only
5 years
Atlanta
later.
fan I'm a team of is the
Georgia, same
Braves.
year.
So.
Yeah, Georgia back.
Georgia
to back.
won.
Georgia
Yeah,
back
It made
to
up
back.
a little bit.
It
but,
does get
Dawson
better.
had a text though where he literally. And
Yeah, I
you can pull
told
it
you.
up.
Remember Jarrett Shaw?
Oh, I've seen the text. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
screenshot
I-
of text at halftime.
I text
of
at
the Super Bowl.
halftime, and-
So it's
yeah.
your fault.
Yeah,
About
you
to see
could
the
blame
greatest
it on me.
comeback in-
Yeah, I've got it
Literally
somewhere.
says it. He probably still has the picture.
I've got it somewhere. I've got
Greatest
it somewhere.
comeback in Super Bowl history.
But yeah,
Word
me-
for word
hold on,
from
hold on.
Dawson's mouth.
What were y'all thinking though when you were down?
You
28-3,
thought it was-
before.
Oh, I thought the game was
Oh,
over.
so-
I was like, this really sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
Man.
we got blown out. This is going to tarnish kind of Tom Brady's legacy, getting blown out in a Super Bowl. And then now it was the
God
best
forbid.
thing, the best thing that could have And it made it better for me because going to school, there were so many people that were Atlanta. So I could just, I remember going to school the next day with my Brady jersey. And I literally was just like, you guys can't say shit to me right now. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't say anything. So that was a lot of fun. High school was definitely fun because when we were winning all those games, it was when I was in high school. So it was kind of a cool
a double
thing for
doink
me.
in high school.
Well, I've never got to see the Falcons win anything, so that's why I'm giving them 11 wins this season because I'm ready.
I don't think it's crazy.
I think they win 9 or 10.
The Buccaneers, though,
which wins you the division.
The Buccaneers at 9.5. I think this is a little overblown
because of their success last year. I think
for them losing in Liam Cohen. Now I will say they have a lot of talent.
Oh yeah,
it is a little older talent though. They are becoming kind of if they don't win within the next 2 years, like get to a Super Bowl or. They're going to have to start rebuilding
especially
the same way we've seen some of these other teams. Like Mike Evans, I honestly think if Mike Evans has another 1,000-yard receiver, breaks the record, he's going to retire.
He probably will.
Godwin signed, I don't know how he re-signed with them, so he's there for a couple more years. They've also loaded up on the receiver.
They took Egbuka and Tez Johnson
to where everyone was like, why are you guys doing that? Maybe that's exactly why.
Oh, Egbuka was a great pick.
100%.
Fantastic pick. They didn't need him. But
that was one of those picks, though, where you're looking at it and you're going, how do we not pick this guy? Mm-hmm. Like, he's as good as he is. He played for Ohio State. Championship-winning level team.
He's Ohio State's leading receiver.
He was there for a long time.
He was like
he was there. I think with Chris Olave. Yeah. He was there with all those. C.J. Stroud. Yep.
He's been
so waiting. To me, was like it was like, why are they taking a receiver?
Yeah.
But they were looking at it, going, how do we not take this guy,
dude? It's
so I really liked that. I think you mentioned this just happened. Tristan Wirfs, the really good tackle,
literally before we started filming.
You know, he's hurt, for
knee surgery. He's out. I think they didn't give him a time frame, but he said he will miss multiple weeks, which I assume. Let's see when their bye week is. Their bye week is not until.
Doesn't it have a bye week?
Bye week is week 9.
They have the
earliest
5.
We play the Bills right after that. That's
week 5 bye. The Bears have a week 5 bye as well. Ben Johnson gave a very interesting take on why he likes having an early bye, though. Because it's like, the team starts off slow anyways for the first month. Like, your first month is really finding out who you are as a team and your identity. So having a bye week to be able to take a whole week and look over your first 4 games and go from there and then hit the grounds running afterwards could be seen as benefit.
The type of team that you have, though, for like the Chiefs,
that would kill them.
The Chiefs need that week off in week 14 and week 13,
which is why they'll probably always get a late bye.
Or like the Bills. So it depends, I think, on who.
That's an interesting question. I wonder if the NFL or Goodell thinks about that when he's
like, they do. The same way they put certain games on Sunday night, and there's
the Falcons are maybe going to have a promising season. Let's give them a week 5
exactly. There's no way.
That's horrible.
But no, the Buccaneers 9.5 seems a little high to me with a lot of question marks.
Switch the lines for the Falcons and the Bucs.
Yeah,
I think Falcons are 9.5, Bucs are like 8.5.
Yeah,
well, like I said, the Falcons would have won the last year.
100%. They completely choked it away.
Well, yeah,
they should have won.
The only reason they didn't is because of them. I think the NFC South in general. They relatively play the same teams. So looking at it, Tampa Bay, again, they're playing with a first place schedule. So they do have to play, they have to play Philly. And that's not easy. That's never easy. I just don't know.
Are the Falcons playing Washington this year?
Yeah, they do. They do play Washington.
We're losing that.
That'll be awesome.
That's going to be a great game.
That'll be awesome. They also play the Dolphins.
Revenge.
We will be there.
Yeah, we'll be going to the game in October.
To the Dolphins Falcons.
We're going to be in the 100 section.
Yeah, right? we got pretty good seats. I think we're right behind one of the field goal or one of the end zones.
He's sitting on the bench next to.
As he's spazzing on the sideline. But so to wrap up, NFC South, I think who wins the division?
Falcons.
I'm going to say the Falcons right now. I think out of all the quarterbacks, out of all the receivers, out of the health, and what they did on the defensive side of the ball with Walker, with the kid from Tennessee that they drafted, I like the Falcons and I like Penix. I think out of all of them, the quarterbacks, if I had to say, hey, I trust you. Go score me a touchdown to win this game.
Out of the 4 quarterbacks
I'm taking
in that division,
him
yeah.
over
him or Bryce Young.
I might
think
get
him
a
or Bryce
little
Young.
shit because I'm not picking Baker, and I know, Baker never gets credit for anything, but trusting Baker over Penix, I think I would rather go with Penix.
I think Penix has the intangible. He's
He
just
does.
a gunslinger.
Baker,
Yes.
to Baker's credit, I mean, he's done it
He
with
has.
so many different with coordinators and head coaches, and so it's like
now he's done it for so many years back to back to back to where he's proven it. So I'm not taking any of that
very
away.
hard to count him out. But he is missing his star left tackle for like probably the first month to 2 months of the season, and that is enough to derail a season.
But
not
he's
having
got
someone block for your blind side.
New weapons and stuff too. So
Yeah, I mean they've got a lot. Like the O line looks decent. I think Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chris Scott. I mean, they've got weapons.
Now,
And so
to kind of
the
go on
Falcons
to that,
too.
though, I would say the Buccaneers and the Falcons. I
Two
think
loaded rosters.
both of them make the playoffs.
You think?
I think you'll have 2 teams out of this division. It's going to be the Buccaneers and the Falcons. It just is going to matter on who wins the division and obviously gets that home playoff game and who is in the wild card.
So obviously, biasly, I want to take the Falcons to win it. Like I was just talking about, I got a lot of faith in them and hope. However, I think it could go either way with the Bucs. I think only one of them makes it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because that's
I'm
how
with
that's
you
how
on
it's
that.
been the last 1 or 2 years. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah.
Well, just with how good the other NFC divisions are, like I
Yeah.
think you get 2 or 3 teams from the NFC North and the NFC East. That leaves 1 spot.
Yeah.
So it's like I think 2 from the NFC East, 2 from the North, probably 1, and then
Mhm.
2 from the West.
Yeah.
But it could
The
go either
Rams
way.
and the whoever else.
Yeah.
And if I'm taking order, obviously I would say the Falcons top the division,
Mhm.
Saints bottom. I think obviously Panthers without saying.
It's similar to the division we talked about last week, the AFC West. Or not the AFC West, but there's really only a few ways that it can fall, and I do think at the top it's going to be the Falcons or the Bucs,
Yes.
and at the bottom it's the Saints and the Panthers. Pick the order. It's
Now,
but I think the Panthers are destined for
the
third
Panthers
spot.
the Panthers are way better than the
destined
Saints.
for third.
But I do really like the Bucs and the Falcons this year. It's just gonna whoever wins more division games, whoever doesn't slip up,
Mhm.
I think ends up win. I do think 2 of them get in though. I think both these teams are good enough over some of the other division or teams that would qualify for wild cards in the other NFC division.
I think they're good enough, but I think it's going to be one of those situations where it comes down to week 18 and one team gets counted out.
That's exactly
Whether
what I'm
it's
thinking.
one or the other team.
Yeah.
And like what happened to the Falcons this year. But yeah, I think I'm going I'm going to pick the Bucs to win the division still. Falcons second. Panthers and then Saints.
Okay.
So if they don't win the division, what do you want to see as a Falcons fan? Like, what is the most important part this year for you to where you can look at it and go, you know what? We didn't win the division. The NFC's really good. Didn't get a wild card.
NFC has gotten
But
wild.
this.
The bright spot.
Yeah.
Definitely defense. If
I
I
think,
if I
yeah.
see improvement in defense and I see that we're actually building something with these picks rather than Jalen Walker and James Pierce starting, week 1.
Watts
not
too.
doing anything.
Yeah.
If I see defense, that makes me pretty happy with the season.
Mhm.
Like last season, I was happy just to see Michael Penix and
Yeah.
Drake
Yeah.
London have a good
Yeah.
few games together.
Drake London is going to
Yeah.
be a massive fantasy
yes.
option.
Yeah.
Massive.
I want to see Bijan be
Him
one
too.
of the top running backs.
He was with Penix under. I saw it was a graphic that I saw earlier this week talking about Bijan's numbers in comparison to when Kirk was quarterback and Penix was quarterback, and he was like the RB2 with Penix, and he was like RB11 with Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
So
How many
it's
sacks do you want?
more than
More than we had last year. We didn't have anything.
they had.
last
I
year.
remember what was it? They went into like week 11 having like 7 sacks.
Yeah.
So-
It was bad.
No, we would actually in the house we would celebrate sacks like more than you normally should because we don't get any.
That's funny.
And then it didn't matter because our AJ Terrell gives up like a bomb down the field.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
I think we're all kind of definitive on the division standings. I think Falcons or Bucks,
yeah, Falcons, Bucks, and then
Saints or
probably
Saints.
Panthers and Saints are going to suck.
Yeah.
Saints will have a first round pick. They might have Archie.
Now
Manning
Saints,
next year.
Saints might actually get the second generation of
The Panthers
Archie.
could surprise everybody.
They could.
all I'm saying.
could.
It could be a
And
sleeper
that's
team.
the great part about NFL football is you never know.
Oh,
To
yeah.
where Bryce Young could come out the way he did the past couple, last couple games last season,
Yep.
and all of a sudden it's like, wow, he's first in passing yards, he's first in completion.
The season could go
He's first
any
in-
which way.
It can.
I don't think their defense is going to be really good at all. But if Bryce
Yeah,
Young
it'll
can be
be
out of the
okay.
pocket, on the run, throwing all the time,
Mm-hmm.
they might win some.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Well,
think onto our bonus section.
Yeah,
We got a
so
little
that will
bonus.
wrap up our NFC South division. Again, we have, how many more do we have?
I've got 3 more.
Next week should be a lot of fun, though.
Next week we have the AFC
We have
North. We will have another
Quite
guest on, I
a
believe.
bit of guests, hopefully,
Yeah.
with
That's true.
Bengals fans.
Got Bengals fans. We actually do know a Steelers fan.
We do
but
know a Steelers fan.
We don't know
You
if he would,
He
make
doesn't
an
want to voice
appearance.
his opinion. No, he wouldn't.
That'd be kind of funny
He
if we
might.
had
I'd
a
love to get Andy
Steelers fan
on.
in-house and Bengals fans over Zoom going at each
We also
other.
know a Ravens fan. So
We do.
I mean,
That'd be quite entertaining.
all of them, and we'll honestly just sit back and let them talk.
It'd be the longest episode
bring the
ever.
popcorn. We got a microwave here. It's
So next week will be a lot of fun because we do have a lot of friends within that division that hopefully we can get on. Even if we get some clips of them saying and plug it in,
Yep.
that will be a lot of fun. But yes, our bonus section, like we said, Jake, this is where he kind of comes in. Jake, you've played who?
college football.
College
26.
Football 26, the new
Is
one that just
out.
came out. Is it different? Is it better? Is it worse?
Come grab a mic,
What's
Jake.
the verdict after playing for a couple days?
Come hither.
Mm.
Said it doesn't matter if you still suck.
High school.
High school's
high
fun.
school playing. So what's different about it? Is there anything that's like different, or is it?
Like animations or
This is true.
That's true.
This is true. I agree with you.
But the
on
high
that.
school stuff should have been in the first game. Anyways.
Very true.
So now I got to pay another $80.
This one, they basically
now here's the thing though.
I also,
do you
you
think,
also said for a little quality of life thing that he said is you can connect your Spotify. Oh, he was.
You were lied to.
Never mind. So now we
Marching
just
band
have to hear the
music only.
drums the whole time.
They added a lot.
Okay.
saw they added Enter Sandman finally for
Mhm.
Virginia Tech. That was big. They got the rights from Metallica. But my question is, I mean, if what you're saying is true, they were listening to the community, they fixed issues and added stuff that should have been in the game last year. What the hell is wrong with Madden? Like, why can't they do it with Madden?
Well,
I'll tell you what's wrong with Madden. The same reason why I told you is it's a contract year.
It's contract year. So this could be the year that we see actually like a Madden that's on par with what you're saying. Decent football game.
Maybe.
I hope so.
the trailer's fooling me.
The trailer,
know.
dude.
I
will
think
say
you just
this-
want to play it. No, I know why Dylan wants to play it. Because he wants to run around with fucking Caleb Williams and throw to DJ Moore.
I do.
And throw to all of his little
Oh my God.
buddies.
I do.
That's why he wants
I want
to
to
play
get
it.
pick sixes with Jalen Johnson. And
Anything for you, Ben
stare
Johnson.
at, I just
Yeah.
want to stare at Ben Johnson on my side.
That's what he wants to do.
I want to call timeouts when it's supposed to. It's time to call a timeout. Okay, we're gonna be driving down 2 minutes. I'm gonna have the sticks.
Can you
Okay,
pick your head coach?
and you
Can you
want to
play
know what I'm gonna do?
Eagles?
I'm gonna call my fucking timeout so that I don't have to run hurry up and bleed more clock. That's what I'm gonna do.
And then, as he does that on Saturday, he has to actually watch the Bears do it
Yeah.
on Sunday in real life, and,
Yes.
and just be more mad at yourself.
No,
So,
it's the Bears are back. This is a different
Bears are
year.
back.
The Bears are back. The Bears are back. Hit it
well,
for me,
that
Chris.
will wrap it. No, do not hit the button. Don't hit the button. That will wrap it up though for episode 46.